All right, boom, back from holiday, back in my massive chair with this empire of a computer, multiple massive screens. Love it, really missed it. I was off for a month doing little videos on my tiny laptop, which I don't regret. That was cool too, but I haven't done a video in a while. It's just difficult. So, huge day to come back, right? Fed rate cut September on the table. Is it 25? Is it 50? We'll see. It doesn't really matter which way it is. They shouldn't be cutting, they should be hiking. This is with stock market, real estate market, crypto market, gold market, all-time high everywhere. Inflation picking back up. Why would you cut rates? Because there are really real problems behind the scenes. The bonds are absolutely collapsing, right? I don't know if you realize that. If I would have done a video a few days ago, I would have easily covered, and I still should, but I want to jump into gold and silver and the miners so eagerly that I'm going to actually skip the bond market, which I shouldn't do. But basically, yields were absolutely, look at the EU 30 year, the Japanese, that's already toast. Hitting new all-time high, new 52-week highs, pretty much the end of the world stuff. The bond market is still the smartest money, the biggest money in the room, and that's where you can see where real problems are. I still think that. And they were just about to break out, especially I'm talking about the 10 and especially the 30 years, right? Look at Britain, look at France, look at, I mean, all of them, all of the Western world. Right. Dollar, bearish, massive bearish engulfing candle. We should go lower straight away next week. I mean, it's almost impossible to just bounce from this. You'd need equal news. It's not going to happen. That would take like a war or something, a new war. So down we go, right? A little sideways, some orderly decline, and then down, down, down. Pretty much going to the lows, bounce maybe, and then back down. Boom, 95, low 90s. The DXY is pretty much toast. Doesn't mean the other currencies are better, but that should help gold. To be honest, whether it went up or down, I've seen very often across the last couple of months, every day, whether the dollar is up or down, it doesn't mean anything really for gold. But when the dollar is down, it usually helps, unless it's like a fair trade related thing. They could act in tandem. But this helps gold. It helped today. It will help next week. Let's check out. Let's go straight to gold. I just cannot help myself. Right. So. Yeah, I agree with that. But that's negated now. So gold was quite weak, right? I mean, silver's obviously, we'll see that in a second. Silver was outperforming. Silver's ready to rock it. Jesus. Gold is going to be the one that takes the back seat. For me, nothing really, it's going to happen anyway, but nothing really is confirmed until 3,400 close. By the time that happens, let's be honest, silver's probably touching 40, giving it a little kiss. The gold will then hit 3450. That's very big because we've already been at 3400 actually. But it close above 3400, then it's 3450. Then honestly, once you close above 3450, it's done. And by then, silver's in the 41s, maybe, definitely above 40. And then no one really cares about gold. Like everyone's probably watching silver and maybe even palladium, platinum will start doing their thing. Gold will just sort of do a delayed run and basically keep, take out 3,500 and run. I don't know how long that'll take, but you can see it's really, you know, this zone that we're in, right? This is cute, but for me, a close above here pretty much means you have to test this. A close above that means you have to test that. But to be honest, a close above this for me guarantees a move up to like 3,600, something like that. So gold looks good, but it looks even better when you look at its sister silver, which was looking bad at this candle here, this little Wednesday. And I was watching it red. I wasn't doing a video. I probably would have said, "Oh, watch out, it looks bad," obviously. But actually, it didn't take out this and it bounced from it and ended up being a beautiful day. Beautiful day. Almost completely making up for this horrible day where everyone thought it was going to crash, continue to crash, especially with gold acting weaker. But the next day, we'd made up for the whole thing, and that looked really good. And then today, obviously, it was like a build up towards this, and this is all you needed. Like technically sound, and then on top of that, you got some fundamentals behind you. How can you not expect to move all the way up to 39.5? Is that asking too much on Monday? I think Monday you might as well do it. I mean, 1.5% is kind of nothing. So you could I don't know, 40 is too much 40, but Monday we flirt with 39.5. Tuesday we close above it, and I think Wednesday, Thursday, Friday you are touching 40. And what happens when 40 is pierced? You probably go back down, sharp decline or something. But once you close above 40, I don't know, man. How can you be short? How can you be short? And gold, what's gold doing then? Right? Gold's at 34.50. It's doing its own technical closes that's going to guarantee another up leg. And by the way, that's just silver. What about our best friends? GDX yesterday already kind of guaranteeing continue. I mean, it would have been a real shame if gold was down today because it would have ruined what was such a strong technical move leading up to this Powell speech. But now you've really got, I mean, new all-time 52-week high yesterday, Thursday, and then with Powell today. Do you know what I mean? You got silver beating gold, and you got the miners beating the metals, and obviously we're going to take a look at the juniors, and they are outperforming too. So it is as good as it gets. And then you start to say, all right, how much higher can we go until we hit resistance? And honestly, the little cuts and nibbles that I do, I've kind of paused because I've got enough sidelines. It's just the portfolio is worth so much. The miners are worth so much. And I'm looking at, I should be cutting, I should be trimming. Today, I think I trimmed like 1% of Barrick, something ridiculous. A good till cancel I had in for ages, like 25.99 or something. But otherwise, it's just worth so much, the miners. But I think, all right, but I've got so much sidelines, so why sell more? If it goes down, all right, the portfolio will take a hit, that's true. But I have so much sidelines, and I know how I am. I'm pretty slow and cautious, and I nibble on the way down, just as I nibble out on the way up. I do buy more than I sell, right? I think we all have that problem. But for me to go all in with all my sidelines ammunition, you'd need like a move down to 34, something obscene, which will never happen, never. So basically my miners are worth so much, and I'm so happy that I haven't really been selling because it's just gone up, up, up. And even here, I mean, I think we all thought that all right, time to go back down. Was it that Wednesday, Tuesday, Wednesday? I was obviously looking at you guys. All right, 55 GDX. We're gonna go back down there. I'll nibble. We go lower in the low 50, 52. I'll nibble there. That'll be strong support. If I would have done a video, I would have said buy, anywhere here-ish. But in the end, absolute fake out, and that's the strongest move, I think. Up we go. So where do we go now? Well, with my massive screens, I can tell quite quickly. For me, you have little areas, right? You have little 61s, but I don't think we're interested in that. I'm not interested in that. I'm not even setting big moves. For me, the next big move is basically just below 64. It's this 63.5-ish zone. I could start zooming in. I don't really need to. 60, yeah, but just below 64, 63.5, let's say. How much of a move up is that from where we are now, from the close, and we're up after hours, 5%. For me, that's like a small level up. 5 to 10% is like a decent move, a bit like today. Today wasn't that much actually. Today was only 1.5%, but portfolio went up nicely. Actually, some of the miners weren't up that much at all. Like a Newmont and a Agnico, they weren't even up 1%, I think, which I noticed. I think it's the era of the mid tiers and the small juniors, which I have still not got any of. And I know I should, but I just can't get back into them. I don't know. I know they're gonna run another 10x, but I need that. I can't buy on a green day. It needs to be a red day. And I was gonna do it during the holidays, but anyway, I'll look at the juniors later. So 63.5 GDX, little 5% move. And then let's be honest, why not hit all-time highs? That's pretty close. Newmont's the second best performing stock in the S&P, 10 to 11% away from the 2011 high of when gold was at, what was it, 1921 or something, 1900 move. Now we're more than, well, we're almost double that. So obviously we should be way past here, which is why we might as well go there. Also, look at this. I wonder how many people have this ascending resistance, very rare. So once you hit 63.5, it seems to coincide, right? I mean, I don't like vertical moves, but if we do this, it'll probably take 2, 3, 4, 5 days or something. But if we do that, we coincide with this double area. So that is a place I will nibble out of. And there'll be small nibble. I don't know how many nibble. It'll be cells, little cells everywhere. little 2% across the board, regardless, almost regardless. And then yes, it could keep going. That would be obscene though. A massive move like that. That's the all-time high. That has to be sold on general principle just below it. Those are the two sales I'm looking at in GDX. And I'm not up for selling before because if we go down even on Monday for some weird reason, I'm ready to buy. I've got so much sidelines. I've been trimming for ages. I've been sending cash over. I've also got blue chip stocks. Had nice pumps in some of those random ones. I've got enough cash on the sidelines to buy back without having to sell. I just not into selling the miners that much anymore. Right, GDXJ, which is kind of outperforming, it's doing the same sort of thing, but nowhere near 2011 highs. That's the good news. Also ascending resistance, one, two, three, about that. Also coinciding with a little level, obviously. Here we hit a bit of a level. Which level is that? That's over here. Oh, go on, why not? I'm much quicker with this screen. So why do I think that's a level? Because of this. Well, it's roughly a little level. But the next one's more obvious. Look how many times we hit that 82.5-ish. And that happens to be where that ascending line, where are we? Yeah, where that ascending line coincides. So that's the first level for me. And then after that, and how much of a percentage move is that from where we are? 8%, that kind of coincides with 5% GDX, so that's the same thing. And then we've got this monster move, 30% from where we are, which equals the 11% in GDX. I don't know, that's a bit too much, maybe. I mean, yeah, GDXJ outperforms GDX, but not by that much. But still, it should start getting crazy. I mean, if silver's above 40, which it will be by then, you could have some silver stocks which make up the GDXJ. I think a few of them do. It's getting wild. It's really getting very real. Like the portfolio value that I have now, I spend a lot of my days just daydreaming a bit now about early retirement. I'm not gonna lie. SIL, and what a beautiful daydream it is, I must admit, on the beach in Dubai, just dreaming about that. SIL took out this, that was a few days ago, but now it's really done it with a vengeance because we really did close above it for the first time. That's your COVID 2020 high. Actually, no, it's before that. Jesus, 2016 high. To be honest, the COVID high should have taken that out, but now we've done it for the first time in, I don't know, a decade. Jesus. And that's just before silver goes and tests 40. Can you imagine? Next stop is up here. I think that's pretty clear. How much percentage move is this? This is the silver seniors. Nice little 10% move. I think we can accept that. If we've got silver taking out 39.5, going to 40, GDX doing its thing, silver, whatever, going to 41. Yeah, you're gonna have some 10% days in Pan America. You're gonna have that 12% day in First Majestic. I really think those days we should have had. I don't know if we should have had it today, but we haven't had one of those days in a while. Like EXK up 16%. Jesus, that's, haven't had that in a while. So, and then after that, obviously, this is all the way up here. That's going to take some time, but I don't really see much resistance. Maybe 58-ish. Yeah, I don't know. SIL, and this is not even SILJ, but I think silver has room to run 10%. It's pretty much the same as GDX up 5, 6%. I think silver will just outperform as it's been doing. SILJ, now this one looks very nice as well. We have, I think, strong resistance here. Got this descending, right? Every time I free draw, actually, that's quite a good one. There, yeah, about here, 18. That's pretty close. That's very doable. That's easy, 4%, right? That's your little GDX. Before it hits 5%, we're gonna hit that. That should be resistance, but that might even end up, that should be strong resistance. But I don't think it will be. I think it will be intraday resistance or maybe 1 day resistance and we'll keep going because you're gonna have silver, you're gonna have silver test 40 and you're not allowed to be at 18 on SILJ when you're testing 40. Yeah, you can be there when you're at 39.5, but if you have some follow through with maybe gold starts to do its thing, right? Maybe gold starts to go towards 3450 or 3400, 3450, and GDX takes another move up and goes up 1%. You're going to take out this 18, and I think maybe ends up being this 19. So you've got 18 and you've got this pretty simple stuff, isn't it? 18, and guess what the next one is? 20. But they really are levels. And I don't know, from where we are now, 18 is 4%. That's a good day. 19 plus 5, and the next one plus 5. It's 5%, 5%, 5%. And I don't think it's asking too much to have little Sil J go test 18, go straight through it next day, or maybe same day if it's a ridiculous day. 19, hover, go sideways, down, whatever, 1 or 2 days side, and bam, 20. If you want to take another week, take another week. And then your 2016 high, right? Still just SIL already took that out. So we have a lot of catching up to do, and we know the juniors are starting to up. I mean, the seniors didn't do that well. The juniors did okay. I say juniors, they're more like mid tiers, but they outperformed. And this is what it will be like when you have the juniors outperform. We have the juniors outperform the mid tiers, the mid tiers outperform the seniors. You got silver outperforming gold. It's literally perfectly aligned. Bonds are going back down. Sorry, the yields are going back down. The dollar's getting crushed. Inflate. I mean, that's it. All the stars were aligned. And I think peace is priced in with Ukraine. So even a peace treaty won't really stop anything. This is macro monetary, fundamental, long-term stuff. So it's looking good. I think it's absolutely ideal. Let's go check out the portfolio. Right, check out Newmont, starting off with Newmont, which was not too impressive, but still the candlesticks are okay, right? At least we're following GDX. I mean, take into account where we were Tuesday, Wednesday was nice, Thursday was good, made a new high, new sort of 52-week high, and today closed at new high above resistance of 70. Next stop, hmm, next stop. Well, we've got to take into account this 5% move in GDX, which should take us, yeah, to about there. Looks good, 74. But I mean, I'm not gonna sell it. I maybe like a 1-2% trim just for general principle and addiction feeding, but otherwise just let it run. GDX has to go to its old high. Yes, this is a bit higher relative to GDX. I think GDX is like 11% to get to its old high. This is double that. But yeah, it's got good news behind it. Everything's a lot like it has to get there. It might not get there in 1 or 2 weeks, maybe 1 or 2 months. But I mean, I would just look at that. Your immediate target of 74. And then honestly, you should really not be looking at maybe 80 just because of the special number, but just old high, right? Just new 52, new all-time highs, expecting a new one, just not straight away. But it looks okay. Now, Barrick, my God, that one has been stealing the show. Look at that. I've never seen Barrick do that. That really is absolutely beautiful. And it's been making new highs. I think even when gold was down during this week, like a Tuesday or something, yeah, it made a new high on that. Was it Tuesday or Wednesday? It just made a new high. Like, what the hell's going on there? Thursday kept going. Today, Friday, no great surprise. I had my one trim at 25.99, 26 basically. Closed above that. Closed near high of day. Next stop, I don't know. Let me look at it here. Knowing that GDX wants to do a 5% move, let's do this pre-gap. How about that? 28, that's a nice number. I like that. Pre/post gap. This is just a bit of a zone, I think, that it needs to go towards. And then 29.50, basically $30. But before we get to 30, I see 29.50. How much of a percentage move is that? I'm trying to go fast. I know no one likes long videos. 6%, yeah, so 6%, that's like your 5% GDX movement. Barrick outperforming GDX won't be the biggest surprise at the moment. So your little gap zone. And then yeah, 13% to get to this 29.50. That equals your GDX hitting its high, its historic high. But to be honest, Barrick will probably get that before. You might even get Barrick all the way up here in the third above 30s, to be honest. These are useful, these little lines, not for you, but for me, because things are moving fast. And if I just need to check quickly back, where are we going? And I see the candlestick there, I know, okay, we're near resistance cell. I mean, that's what I would normally do, but now I'm selling very, very little or not at all. But Barrick, this is very vertical, you know. I mean, if this keeps going all the way up there, I probably will sell something, 1 or 2% or five, if I'm feeling absolutely adventurous. All right, Agnico closed at a new historic high. Underperforming, but that's okay. It's kind of been underperforming for a while, but it's just outperformed for ages. So it's just gonna keep doing this. High highs, high lows, ciao. All the way to 150, 200, whilst the story continues. And I don't see government, Western governments, US government cutting spending, reining in, rates, like raising rates. They just don't do it, you know. I mean, who's president after after Trump? Realistically, Musk isn't going to do it. Vance, JD Vance. I don't see him. I mean, he's good. I like him, but I just don't see anyone capable of cutting spending, like atrociously cutting military and welfare spending to the point where you're actually the taxes you're bringing in are bringing in more than the spending you're doing, actually dropping deficit. It's not going to happen. So this will just keep going up, which is why in gold and silver. Nothing else to say. It's underperforming. Oh, if we are going to do this 5-10% thing, I don't really want to have to do it for every stock, but where's 5 or 10%? 145. Yeah, I'll probably get to test 150, but just before GDX hits its old high. All right, Pan America. Nice, mini new high, looking like SIL as it always does. 32's gone. Next is 34, 3460-ish. Okay. 3450 is your next level. That's about 5%. Yeah, very nice. And after that, probably 10%. Nice. It also works in 5% moves. Then you got 36. And then the massive one, which is 20%. That's probably when that's your GDX hitting its all-time high. That's silver in the 40s. That's Pan America starting to act crazy. 38. That's your long-term descending, absolutely obvious resistance. It might happen in 2, 3 weeks. 2 or 3 very good weeks. Maybe, I don't know, maybe 2 very good weeks to get to 38. But that's a definite sell. That I would take like, I don't know, maybe even 5 to 10%. Five here, and if it keeps running into some overextended, another 5%, unless silver is squeezing. But silver's not squeezing, right? Silver is just going up and it's sustaining its move, and I love that. It's not going to 50 and back down 2 weeks later. It's going towards 41, back to 39, 43, back to 40, 45, and staying there. And that's when the miners, that's what they've been doing now. They're sort of catching up. It's not a quick get rich quick move. It's a stay rich, slow, if that makes sense. Wheaton. Yeah, actually, Wheaton's a bit special, so that came down a lot. I bought some of that. Back up we go. I think it has bad news, right? It had bad news, but I don't think it's really bad news. Yeah, it's a bit special. So GDX going back up 5% will might probably take us back up to the old highs. Before GDX hits its all-time high, I think Wheaton will already take this out and start running towards 110. So, and there'll be a bit of resistance here. I might nibble a little bit out here because I've sort of stopped selling Wheaton, but if I'm ever going to sell it, it's at an old high, and it's rare that it's not making new highs every day. So now that it's got an obvious sell point, I might as well trim right there and let the rest ride forever like a Nico, like most of them. Next, Franco Nevada, all the big boys, nice candles, not huge moves, nice candles. They follow GDX. That's why I buy them. They usually outperform. I think they did again. So Franco Nevada is absolutely destroying Wheaton recently. Really nice candlesticks. Took it out Thursday. Kept on going Friday. New high, new all-time high, new all-time high, right? Franco's also taking it out. Did it much later than Wheaton. Closing the high of day, beat yesterday's high of day. All good. Next stop, I don't know, 190, then 200. 200's coming. 190 is only 2.5%. Jesus, actually, your 200, my 200 is, yeah, not even 10%. So before GDX hits its all-time high, you've probably got Franco Nevada testing 200. That's an obvious sell because there's no other obvious sell. There's nothing there. So you just got to base it off GDX, to be honest. But I also hit 200 as a sell. Little 1 2% out, automatically ask questions later. Metalla. There you go. There's your little ones outperforming the seniors. The one I hated that slowly is turning into a love relationship again. Close at high of day. Nice 4.5, over 4.5% move. Next stop, probably 480, yeah, 488 something. Yeah, well, you know what? GDX 5% probably equals Metalla 480. Probably equals Metalla, 8% move. Makes sense. It's got a massive catching up to do, massive catching up to do, huge. And I like it. And there are certain people who like the stock, like Adrian Day. He's obviously a monster in this sector. So I hear in the little YouTube videos, he likes Metallic, doesn't want to mention it too much, but he loves it. So I love it. And also technically, I've finally fallen back and love it's very strong. And today is a very good day to prove that. So 480 next stop, little trim. I forgive, but I don't forget. I know how crap it was, so I'll trim on general principle. Next stop all the way up here, 580, maybe a pit stop at 540. Yeah. But yeah, 580, little trim. Didn't sell anything today on Metalla, which proves, I mean, normally I'd probably sell a move like this in something like Metalla. All right, mid tiers. Iron Gold. Ooh, I didn't sell Iron Gold, but that is a hell of a level. Is it? Kind of, yeah. Actually, it's $9, which is the level. It's $9. It's between the low here, which is 917, and this little level here, which is 880. So basically, $9 is your level, and it didn't test it. Maybe I sh Well, no, if gold's gonna start following silver up and start taking out 3450 and then making a run to 3500, iron gold is gonna keep going up and start taking out 10. So maybe a little 1% token trim here, but really your next sell is $10. That's a more obvious look. You got this test here, it's a big number, you got a gap, you got the candles, it's $10, it's actually just above $10, but I probably sell just below 10, like 9.99. Iron gold looks good again. It was a bit weak down here. I bought this thinking, nah, it's gonna go down. But and then it had some beautiful days, beautiful news and rebounded. So that's yeah, that's really strong. Really strong actually, I am gold. Good to know that. Equinox, this is a beauty. This is a beauty. Really good news. Screamed up, forced down because of the sector. And now, all right, you're allowed to go back up again, and it wants to go higher. It's just had good news, and now it's got fundamental monetary good news to add to it. So this is just, to be honest, it should have made a new high today. It should have taken out 816. But whatever, we will complete on Tuesday, on Monday, what we didn't complete today. Next stop, yeah, $9. Let it run. Let it run. How much of a percentage move is that? 12%. There you go. It'll do that before GDX hits its 10%. In fact, when GDX does 5%, I reckon Equinox will hit $9. Equinox should double what GDX does. Look at that, it's taken out this ascending resistance too. Yeah, this is a bit of a squeezy one. Just didn't do it today. Quite disappointing today, actually. It should have done it today. Beautiful. B2 Gold, basically copying GDX. Made a new 52-week high. Next stop should be, yeah, 430, 420, 30, 40, those sort of 10-cent areas. Little 1%, 1%, 1%, and then let the rest run towards $5. B2 Gold is good, but I just don't like to own a mine. Its massive operation is in Mali, I just don't need that. So, but I've been holding it and it's done okay. It's sort of done average, hasn't done as good as some, not done too weak. It's gone up, right? It's gone from basically mid twos to four. Could be worse. Before I forget, Aris Mining. Yeah, so a bit like Wheaton, all the way up and then all the way down. I think I had bad news. This one's gonna have trouble, even with GDX up 5-10%. This one has done so well for so long. Bad news, and it's gonna take a lot to go back up there. Today was not the best day, only up one and a bit percent. 12%. Yeah, maybe it tests $8 if GDX does its big move to all-time highs, but this is for me a definite trim now. I need to trim this to this will be like a 10% sell. I say heavy sell. It's 10% is basically nothing also, but a lot more than the others. And it's not worth as much as the others too. It's worth quite a bit now that I added on this drop too, but I will be trimming this one more than the others and before the others probably too. Um, yeah, SBSW before I hit the silver stocks. Obviously, this is a bit special. Did okay today, not that much. It's just taking a breather. It's had a monster move, better than the silver stocks from 3 to 10. Oh, that's absolutely wild. 200%. I expect it to just drift, break out, and slowly just go back out, make new highs. But it's just taking a bit of a breather still. It was forced up today, but I expect it to sort of make a calm ascent. And then at some point, all right, let's squeeze again back to 1250, and then we'll see from there. But for that, you need all commodities to run. But I think you've got that wind behind your sails now. All right, silver, First Majestic. So, First Majestic has not been performing as well as I'd hoped recently. However, no one cares about that. If silver, when silver next week test 39.50, we're going to be up here 940, hitting, playing with the old highs, just as silver would be playing with its old high. And then we will start to play with 40 and start to close above 40 and start to move up into 40, 41. I'm sorry, but First Majestic, whatever you have planned, forget about it. Once we're at 40, closing at 40, we will be around 10, right? This 979 zone, obvious resistance. Once we start to take out, I think this is 40. I think this here is your $40 zone. How much of a percentage move are we away from, 8%? That's a big move, but you can expect that kind of move if you're at 40. Now, if you start seeing silver at 40, 40.5, 40.8, 41, 41.2, 40, yeah, First Majestic is not going to be at 1050. It's going to be in this, probably in this gap zone. Interesting. I didn't notice that. I'll do one line, not pre and post gap, just gap. 1150. Um, yeah, 26%. That's pretty damn big. But that's kind of justified. I mean, we've had First Majestic all the way up here. This is your, do you know what I mean? This is your COVID high. This is silver squeezes on. I sold into this. This was your Monday, Sunday night thing, right? Was it there? Okay, choose whatever. Well, I remember this period. I was selling on Monday pre-market. There's no way we can't be up here. Like 14, I remember 14 being a big zone, resistance, and up here support, 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 resist 14, and then we lost 14. We didn't see that for years. We have to start going back up to 14. And how can we not be there if silver's in the 40s, mid 40s? I don't know all the earnings behind. I'm sure it's beautiful. So, okay, at 39.5, we'll be here. Flirting with 40. I'm sorry, but you got to have double digits. And 41, 42, I expect those crazy, like I was saying, 10, 15, 20% moves in one day. Yeah, seriously, if you're ever going to have it, that's the time. Fortuna. That's nice. That's nice. New highs, took out resistance, closed at resist, whatever, took it out. 39.5 will be at 8. Yeah, she's not asking too much. 5% easy before GDX does its 5%. By the time GDX does its 5%, we'll probably be up here. Now we're closed above 40 running. And if you've got a bit of a squeeze, a slow squeeze, yeah, that's a big move. And that is such an obvious sell. Such an obvious sell. But you can expect that if you're in the 40s running, definitely before you hit 50, you're testing 10. Fortina's good though. It's been acting nicely. A little, you know, 2.5, almost 3% move. I like that every day. Little move like that. All right, CDE, the best of the best. Jesus, we almost hit 1250. Yeah, I mean, just missed the vertical. Up, sideways up, sideways up. So 39.50 flirt is 12.50. After that, geez, I love it when you have to zoom out. After that, you've got this little 16 bucks. Now, We know CDE goes well. This is your 39.50, little 4% move. Easy. You could do that pre-market before flooding with 39.50. Then you start to test 40. This thing starts to go wild. It's a 13. Then we close above 40 one day, and then we start to move 41. This thing will just run 15 and 16, 30. Some of them have that little 30% move. Fortuna, CDE, First Majestic. 30% move is a lot of money. You know, a G here, a G there. You're pretty soon talking about real money. Heckler. I gotta remember this one being down here, looking weak, poor, and pathetic. I thought, how the hell do you get up here? Well, you get a couple of good news, one or two, and silver behind you, and now it's looking inevitable and imminent. Gap zone 850. How long till we get to 850? Not the best close, not too close to 5 days. 7%. That is your GDX 5% move. One level up. That's probably when you're testing. That's probably when you're testing 40. Don't know if you can do it at 39.5. But yeah, once you start running in the 40s, 41, 42, 43, you've probably got a nice move up to 950. I got these three levels, this sort of gap zone. I'm not going to do two gaps for this, whatever you pre-gap is enough. Then I've got nine because it's a nice number. There's probably one or two candles there, but really it's 950, just below 950. And then after that, well, we'll do a video by then, but obviously after that, it's sort of this zone. Wow, 10 isn't even a number. Interesting. 11, 11.50. Yeah, Heckler strong. Heckler strong. Got positive news behind it. So it's a lot of them have that positive news, and now you've got this monetary uh wind in your sails. EXK, which has been average, a bit like First Majestics, a little 2% here and there. No, I'm used to EXK being like the best performer sometimes, like matching CDE, but hasn't even made a new high. Okay, it's just going to be like First Majestic. It needs 39 point. It needs to match silver. So silver starts to test 39.5. You got EXK starting to hit 6. That's cool. After that, we need to start testing our COVID highs up here. I got 680, so basically a run to 9. Gap fill at 9. So from 6, forget where we are now. 16%. Jesus. These are big moves, huh? Yeah, I guess we need to squeeze at 40. Like, not a real squeeze, but need to get to 40 and run. And by run, I mean Monday, Tuesday. We need several days of sustained move, holding above 40 and 41, 41.5, 42, 42.5. And by then, you've probably got your EXK gap filling 7 and probably even testing high sevens, 780. And then we'll see. But these levels are going quickly too. I can't wait when I have to start looking at these levels up here. This is retirable stuff, huh? This is really they say the once in a lifetime. It's not once in a lifetime, it's once every 10 years probably, but we're nailing it so far. All right, Mag Silver now. This one really it's only 24 bucks. I'm surprised we didn't test it today. I've got one sell in from age ago at 23.99. We'll hit that Monday, tomorrow, Monday. And once that happens, I think there's nothing left, and I'm just going to leave it. No sell. I'm not selling big numbers like 30. I think it's between now and December, it's supposed to merge at Pan America. I'll just accept it when it happens. So there'll be one last sell, a little trim for mag from me at 23.99, and then I leave it. End of story. And that's in the video. So I'm sorry it was long. Um, it's absolutely beautiful. I have to admit, the senior gold stocks weren't that amazing today. But gold also is far behind its 3,500 high, so maybe we need that 3450 closed and test the 35 and 35 breached, and then you got GDX and the seniors really running again. But I think GDX will hit its all-time high before 3,500 or about the same time. It doesn't really matter. But I think we're gonna go there. We're gonna go there. And but what's for sure for me is silver's gonna take out 3950/40 way before there. And it's probably gonna happen Monday, Tuesday. And what's also obvious is the miners are going to continue to lead the medals. So it's beautiful. The mid tiers are beating the seniors. Um, Silver's beating gold, and the silver mid tiers are beating the gold mid tiers, etc. It's the perfect combination. We've got the macro monetary fiscal behind us, technicals, momentum, war, if you will. It's like peace with Iran, peace with Ukraine is sort of front and center expected. So it's not like a surprise peace treaty could just deform this beautiful uptrend. Dollar's going down, yields are going down, obviously, with what's happened. I think all stars are aligned. They've all been aligned for a while. They remain aligned. They're just higher, just like our portfolio. All right, I'll end it there. Have a wonderful weekend. It's been absolutely beautiful.